Now, time for us to go to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. A familiar voice on your radio, back with us as we get closer and closer to the start of the 2023 college baseball season. Scott Berry, head baseball coach at Southern Miss. You've gotten some nice practice days already. The weather's cooperated, maybe in for a little bit of a cool stretch over the next couple of weeks. But, Coach, we're getting close. It's almost here.
Tell you, Richard, it didn't take long to get back around here either, it seems like. But we're excited. You know, there's a lot of energy and excitement about our program. And I think college baseball as a whole across the country, it just doesn't do anything but continue to get bigger and bigger.
So I don't want to dwell on this at all, but I am curious about drive going forward. Based on the way the season ended, so much excitement, the super regional come up short there at the very end. Does that fuel your guys into the offseason, or is it a little bit different because guys kind of scatter all over the place with summer league baseball all over the country? Some guys have to actually take a little bit of time off just to get the rest that they need. But what does the way one season ends mean to the next season?
There's only one program in the country that ends on a winning note, obviously, and everybody else is trying to get that feeling the next year. And certainly when you have momentum in your program and how we went so deep last year into a super regional, I can't help but think that our guys are excited about the opportunity at hand, knowing what they missed on last year and knowing the work that was put in to get to that feeling that we had and that achievement of almost being to Omaha in the year prior.
Scott, I'm looking at your offensive returning players. If I'm looking at this right, it's 5 of the top 6 hitters and 6 of the top 8 from a year ago. And it's not just guys that swung it well. It's guys that played every day. 66 starts for Dustin Dickerson, 60 for Slade Wilkes, 66 for Danny Lynch. Obviously, you lose Gabe Montenegro behind the plate. Pato starts 61 games last year. Sargent gives you 66 starts. You've got a ton of experience coming back, and not just experience, but high-level production from those guys.
Well, we do, and, it's not just from last year. It's from the year before that. We ended the season in that regional in Oxford against Ole Miss. So we've got a ton of experience in that position player side of guys who have had that postseason experience, and hopefully that, moves us into this year, and they'll be the leaders of with these new guys and trying to steer us and trying to get in that postseason play again.
You're still 3.5 weeks from opening day. Talk to me a little bit about guys on the mound. Everybody knows about Tanner Hall, the incredible numbers that he had a season ago, the strikeout numbers, the fact that he didn't walk anybody, the batting average against was low, so much experience on the mound. Certainly, my assumption is he is the anchor of your staff. But what about the other guys?
Well, last year we had Matt Adams really up there late in the year for us and have continued that development through the fall and into this early spring. Nico Mazza, kid from MRA over in Jackson, didn't get much time last year as a true freshman, only really I think about 3 1/3 or 3 2/3 of an innings, but has looked outstanding in our fall camp. He's really been excited about him. We've added a couple of pieces with some JUCO kids from Mississippi, Will Armistead and Holland Towns, both junior college kids here in our state. Billy Odom's another kid that we reached out and were able to get here from through the transfer portal, a kid from Eastern Connecticut. Had a ton of success at the Division III level. Now, obviously, this level of D1 is different. There's going to be an adjustment factor there, but he's got the pitchability that we're looking for and in replacing of some of those guys that we lost last year.
Visiting with Scott Berry, head baseball coach at Southern Miss. It's gonna look different this year. For a couple of years, it feels like we've been talking about conference affiliation, and I don't know if you feel this way. I know when we look at it, we see Sun Belt Conference. It feels like outside looking in, home sweet home. Some natural rivalries that are built in there, an exceptional baseball league. What are your thoughts on finally being a part of the Sun Belt and trying to chase after a conference crown here?
Well, I thought it was a great move on our part, Jeremy McClain, getting us into this Sun Belt. It's going to create, like you said, certain rivalries that are close by that our fans can attend and theirs can. Conference USA, it is what it was. I mean, it was Conference United States of America. I mean, you were zigzagging all over the place. It just didn't produce the atmospheres that you would like. But this new conference will, and I think it's going to be a very strong conference, top 5 RPI with ourselves coming in the mix, as well as Old Dominion and James Madison. We'll see what Marshall has to bring. They're committed to building a new $22 million stadium there and have some new leadership. So certainly that's going to make our conference stronger with time, I would think. But true challenge, Sun Belt's always been traditionally a good conference. But, Richard, Conference USA has been a good baseball conference too. I'm not going to take anything away. It's been really good. It's held its own, but I think that the Sun Belt certainly is going to be much improved and be a very solid conference.
And certainly Conference USA was good to you guys. You mentioned Marshall Stadium a second ago. That's a good jumping off point. I was going to ask you, Jeremy McClain is such a proponent of Southern Miss baseball, college baseball. What's on the drawing board? What's next for Pete Taylor Park? Because to me, it feels like there's been kind of incremental improvement, right? I mean, your attendance was so good. You've got the skyboxes, sold out of season tickets this year. The lights have been added. The field has been redone in recent years. The new video board, all of those things. What's next in terms of kind of continuing to develop and grow Pete Taylor Park?
Well, I think it's going to have to be improve our capacity of being able to get more fans in there. Right now, we've sold 3,400 season tickets. Last year we set a record of 2,800. So the demand is certainly there for some type of facility enhancement to get more people in. I think what we don't want to do is we don't want to build too big of a stadium where that demand isn't there. And it's a really great atmosphere for college baseball here. We're proud of this park and what it brings. But I think what you're going to see in the next 2-3 years is certainly some renovations that allow us to get more people in.
Scott, we talked a little bit a year ago about transfer portal and NIL and what that could mean for Southern Miss. Obviously, you lose some pieces because of that, and that part of it's disappointing. But do you see opportunities there for you as well to be able to continue to build your roster as necessary through the transfer portal and maybe have some opportunities for guys to benefit individually as well?
Well, I think that's certainly insurance for everybody, that you have that's never been a factor in recruiting and roster replacement. One thing that we battle in college baseball that no other sport is that draft and how late it is in the summertime. I mean, you're looking at the third week of July, and most schools are starting a month later. So there's not much time to go out and find those replacements for what you lost. In our situation, we lost 5 guys to the draft last year, all pitchers that could have come back. So, time's pretty short to try to replace that. But the transfer portal does give you an opportunity to do that. I mean, there's certain things about the transfer portal I like. There's certain things that I don't like. But it is here, and it's probably here to stay, so we're all going to have to adjust and learn how to use it to benefit us and the student-athlete as well.
You've always talked to me about team chemistry and the importance of guys wanting to be at the ballpark, loving the game, putting the work in. Are you deep enough into getting ready for this season to have a sense of what kind of chemistry you may have with your guys on this team?
No, I don't think so. I think that works its way through the process of those that are not playing, how they handle that. Are they kind of pouting over there, or are they good teammates and being ready for the opportunity? We talk a lot about that. We can only put 9 guys out there at any given point during that game. So my message to them is be one of those 9 at any point during that game to help us win a game. And that means being committed to do whatever it takes, to having a great attitude, being able to pinch hit, being able to pinch run, being able to come out left on left, get a lefty out, whatever it is. You know, put your feelings aside where you're not getting what you thought you were going to get, but you know that it's important to the team to be ready to deliver. And I think once your team establishes that, through, in our case, all 37 players, and that's when you'll understand if chemistry is a part of your team or not. Fortunately, last year, I think I've been 39 years now. This is the 39th year of college baseball as an assistant or a head coach. But last year's team achieved chemistry sooner than any other team that I've ever been a part of. And it was created by those at the top, the leadership within that clubhouse, making those guys understand and getting everybody on the same page of what it's all about to be a part of Southern Miss baseball team. And I don't think there's any other program that isn't trying to achieve that same feeling as well. It's not just us, it's everybody.
Scott, thank